throwing a nice juicy steak on the grill is a family favorite, but knowing which cut is the best and then how to ask for it, well, that's just a whole nother language that most of us don't really know, and so we never really achieve that perfect bite. Well, we brought in Michael Dominick Steakhouse executive chef Mark Lupino to teach us how to pick that right cut of meat, and then, of course, we couldn't have you in without having you teach us how to make it. So
of course, we got to cook one.
It's great to have you in, and you know, you're out at the Scottsdale Quarter, right?
Yes, that's correct. We're at the Scottsdale Quarter, and we serve nothing but prime steak.
Okay.
So let's get started on, I have brought a few sides with me, but let's get started with the steak. You have ribeye, porterhouse, New York, bone-in New York, and filet are your basics. Okay, so you have, if you basically took this would be called a short loin.
Okay.
Bone-in filet comes off that side.
Oh.
And bone-in New York strip or KC strip comes off of that side.
Oh.
So if you could take two primal cuts of meat, you have every single cut that you need for a restaurant.
Can we show that again? I thought that was really interesting, and I've never seen it.
Basic porterhouse.
Okay, so that one goes there.
Bone-in filet and bone-in strip.
Bone-in filet, bone-in strip. Mm-hmm. All right.
So you're looking for intermuscular marbling. This is easier to say. If you look at the fat that's inside of this, the white specks that are inside of that melts
delicious.
away. Yeah,
right
it's
there
buttery,
defined.
and it melts away as you're eating it, as you're cooking it. As you eat it, it tenderizes the steak. So everything you have. I brought one with a little bit of what you call silver skin on the side of it. You don't want silver skin.
No.
That's tough. So if you just take
no matter
enough,
what we're going to do to that, it is not going to get tenderized.
It is not going to get tenderized. You have fat that's on the inside, intermuscular marbling, and you have fat on the outside. The outside is gristle.
Okay.
So you want to get rid of the gristle. So you just, if you get a steak at the store, you just cut a little bit of the gristle off. You want a little bit on there, not too much.
And what does that little bit do for it?
That little bit on the outside would, if you're going to grill, it'll flare up just a little bit, and it'll get that nice char on the bottom of it. But let's say you don't want to cook outside and you want to cook inside, so you get a saute pan. This is a little of our special house rub that has about over 100 ingredients in it.
No, it's interesting. Now you've been out at Scottsdale Quarter for about a year.
Correct.
That's like 117 shy of birthdays of Mavis, but but you're still, you know, in your own right, you're still, you know, noteworthy for sure. But do you do rubs there, or do you like marinate your steaks, or do you just do them just
a dry
good
rub.
cut?
I think the best thing that you can do is have a great dry rub on a steak. Salt and pepper work just fine. So I brought some sea salt, some very coarse sea salt, and some fine pepper. I don't like the pepper to be too coarse. It gets hot as you eat it. Unless you like a pepper steak, and then you want to do it that way.
Right.
Sauteing a steak, there's nothing wrong with sauteing a steak at all.
But how do you prevent it from getting crispy-fied on the outside and still raw on the inside?
You want to bake it in the oven afterwards. So what we'll do is we'll char it, and I'll throw it in the oven, and then we can kind of look at some of the other cuts. I brought some potatoes over here, gratin potatoes. They're made with smoked Gouda, a little bit of garlic, some onion. We layer them in big pans. There's 100
oh my gosh,
100 pounds of potatoes for the batch that we make every single day, and they're sliced very thin. There's over 11 layers in there.
Well, when you have dishes like that, it really kind of takes away from the star of the show, which is of course the steak. Now you know, when you go to the grocery store, you know, At Home Cooks, they have this big long aisle full of all these marinades in a jar.
Yeah.
You know, and so we think, oh well, they tell us, you know, if it's right there in a bottle, we should stick it in a Ziploc and stick it in our refrigerator.
I think that's great
no bueno,
if you're
right?
buying a steak at Walmart. That's great. But if you're buying a quality steak, prime, top end of choice that does have some intermuscular marbling, you don't want to do that. You want the steak to stand out. You want it to be on its own. That's why we serve it on a hot plate with butter only. Oh. So it stands out on its own. And then you have your accompaniments.
You had me at butter. I'm still on that butter.
You know, some snap peas. Have a green vegetable. You know, have some potatoes. Take the steak. You know, everything, components are separate, and you can put them on the plate the way you want to put them on the plate. Instead of having a composed dish that someone is basically saying,
look at that. Okay, so from there, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. How long a steak that thick? We're looking at about 2 inches probably right there. How long would that go in the oven to get just, let's say, a medium well?
Medium well, you're probably looking at a good 10 minutes.
Okay.
A great steak, there's really no reason to eat it medium well unless that's what you really like.
Medium, you prefer?
I prefer medium rare. Unless
Medium
on a
rare.
ribeye. Let's go over that on each individual steak. You have New York strip, which is a medium-bodied steak.
Okay.
Ribeye, which I brought two different ones. This one is considered a loin end because this actually butts up to this.
Okay.
This cut and this cut are almost exactly the same, except they're just on different parts.
Oh, okay.
And if you look at them, they're really close.
Right. But they're going to be, to enjoy their flavor to the fullest, this would be a medium.
This would be a medium also.
And with this?
This would be a medium, and I'd say rare plus medium rare.
Right.
You could eat that with a fork right now. That's what we make our steak tartare out of.
I think I'll let you cook it a little.
Well, we'll
I
get
do
this
like
one in
steak
the oven.
tartare, but I prefer tuna a little bit better. I would go there. I would definitely try it. I think
so
I
let's
got
just
caught
get
with
it.
my face. All right. So coming up, you're not going to be intimidated by making seafood at home because Chef Mark says he is going to completely debunk all of those myths and those fears that you have. He's going to show us how to prepare a very popular seafood dish that you have. It's what kind of fish?
Sole Frenchaise.
Okay, that sounds better when you say